Добре, то прошу до уваги. Окей. Стихи Йоанна Дамаскіна – це є ті вечірні мелодії, на Господь я звав. Окей? Знова, we're just going to sing from the soprano voice. Okay, so one voice. So everybody have them? And by the way, they were sent out with the funeral music, each tone individually. But for the first two meetings we had, they were sent to you as one kupa. So they were all together right in order without any breaks. Either way it is fine because I haven't changed anything. I've just separated them out. So either way you want to use them is fine. Okay? So everybody got them? Okay, then sit with somebody who does and we'll be fine. Okay? So again, just everybody the melody, tone 1. Яка життєва насолода не знає печалі, яка слава на землі буває незмінна, все від тіні слабше, все за сон примарніше, одна мить і все це смерть забирає, але в світлі лиця Твого Христе, і в насолоді краси Твоєї, того, кого Ти обрав у покой, як чоловіколюбець. Tone 2. О, як тяжко душі з тілом розлучатися, як тоді плаче вона, і нема, щоб хтось помилував її, то ангели в очі підводять, чи даремно вона молиться, то людей руки простягає, але немає допомоги. Тому, улюблені браття мої, помисливши про скоро минуче життя наше, просімо у Христа упокоєння для спочилого і душам нашим великої милості. And again, just to remind you from before, these are those verses that St. John of Damascus made to comfort his the monk who had lost his brother. When you sing these, they have to be sung very sort of peacefully and in a comforting manner, and it's good to take a breath, take a little bit of time between each one, just to give the people listening a chance to understand, to comprehend what has just been sung, and to give yourself a chance to get into the tonality for the next stihira.
Are these the only melodies for these?
These are they're written to the eight
there
tones.
There are no other ones.
No, just if you want to do them in Galician, for example, tone 2 Galician. O jak ciężko duszy тіл. О, як тяжко душі тілом розлучатися, як тоді плаче вона, і нема, щоб хтось помилував її, то ангели в очі підводять, чи даремно вона молиться, то людей руки простягає, але немає допомоги. Тому, улюблені браття мої, помисливши про скоро минуче життя наше, просімо у Христа упокоєння для спочилого, і душам нашим великої милості. That's tone 2, Vespers melody for Galician melody. If you go to Byzantine, you have another melody. If you go to Karpatsky melody, you have another melody. But these are the Kyivan obikhod melodies. So that's just what we're using. Yeah, the Galician melodies are very beautiful. Anyway.
Now, Father, when we're doing it, why can we not do it a little bit slower so that we can? Some of us are having a bit of a hard time.
I understand. We're doing it this fast because A, we don't have that much time, and B, I forget what you just told me. Okay? Dobre.
That's a good one.
So,
short memory, good.
Let's go to the tone 3. Все суєта людська, що зникає після смерті, не лишається багатство, минає і слава. бо приходить смерть і все це зникає. Тому до Христа безсмертного взиваймо, представленого від нас у покой, в оселі, де всі радіють. And we take a breath and we let them think about it for a minute and then we begin. Де мирська пристрасть, де мрія про скороминуче, де золото і срібло, де безліч слуг і слава, все порох, все попіль, все тінь. Але прийдіть, взиваючи до безсмертного Царя. Господи, вічних благ Твоїх сподоби представлено від нас, упокоївши Його у вічнім блаженстві Твоїм. And we take a breath and we get relaxed and then згадав я пророка, що викликував, я земля і попіль, та ще оглянувши гроби і побачивши оголені кості, сказав, хто ж тут цар чи воїн, чи багатий, чи вбогий, чи праведник, чи грішник. Але упокой, Господи, з праведними раба Твого. Початком моїм і основою стало Твоє творче веління, бо зволив від невидимого і від видимого створити мене живим єством. Із землі тіло моє створив Ти, і душу дав мені Твоїм божественним і животворчим подихом. Тому, Христе, раба Твого в країні живих і в оселях праведних упокой. Створивши на... перепрошую. Так, правильно, добре. І створивши на початку чоловіка за образом Твоїм і подобою, Ти оселив його в раю, щоб він володів творінням Твоїм. Yeah, let's go back to заздрістю, ready, and заздрістю жди, окусившись, спожив він плоду і порушником заповідей Твоїх став. Ти, Господи, знову присудив його в землю, з якої він був узятий повернутися і просити для себе упокоєння. Christina, if you can show me how to do that with those consonants, I'll be very happy, because some of this stuff just makes me crazy. As far as the words, they just look... Anyway, okay, добре, last one. Плачу і ридаю, коли розмірковую про смерть, і бачу красу нашу за образом Божим створену, що гробі лежить, снотворена, безславна і не має вигляду. О чудо, яке це таїнство з нами діється, як ми піддалися твінню, як з'єдналися зі смертю, воістину повелінням Бога, як написано, що подає спочилому упокоєння. It says in the book to sing the Blаженні in tone 6. I purposely did not write the notes for it. I probably will at some point, but in most of the parishes they're just read, and one of the nicer ways I've seen of reading it is where the priest just says the first line and the reader reads the rest, and at that point, in most parishes that I'm aware of, they will enter into the altar area, okay? Although in some places they won't. Some places they have the royal doors open, which tends to be our practice here, but in some places they don't. So anyway, the Blаженні are read, then we do the Prokeimen, and you guys should all know this right off the bat. Будьмо важні мир усім, і духові твоєму перемудріш Прокеймен, голос шостий, блаженна путь, якою ти сьогодні ідеш, душе, бо приготоване тобі місце упокоєння. Блаженна путь, якою ти сьогодні йдеш, душе, бо приготоване тобі місце упокоєння. You guys know that, that's not a problem. Next page. Після читання і духові твоєму, алілуя, 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 алілуя. Go to the next page after the last Alleluia. Премудрі стаймо побожно, мир усім і духові твоєму. Від Йоанна Святого Євангелія читання. Слава тобі, Господи, слава тобі. Okay, that takes us to number 8. So роздішальна молитва, прошу.
I have a question. I forget why Tvoyemus is more correct than Tvoyomu, isn't it? Or is it the way around?
No.
Or is there no more correct?
It's simply stylistic.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. It doesn't really make, you know, yeah.
Which one are we following?
We're following what's in here, which is hopefully what's in here.
Tvoyomu or Tvoyemu in UOCC?
In what?
In the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, which one are we following?
I'm following what's in here.
No.
What is in there?
The word
Tvoyemu.
Tvoyemu or Tvoyomu?
We're just saying it, Tvoyemu.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the problems, is that we have so many translations of different things. So that's one of the goals here, is to just get something that everybody's going to do, you know?
Tvoyemu is more folk, that's melodic.
Yeah.
Tvoyemu more
Сучасна, yeah, okay.
high style.
Так, okay. It's just like in some places where you would use блаженна, and some places you use блаженная. They're both proper, but how is it going to flow, whether poetically, musically, or whatever? And you know, so,
Can I add something on that?
yeah.
Другий антифон, перший антифон.
Благослови душа моя.
Щасливо,
І
колись було
блаженно.
щасливо, а зараз блаженно.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a very simple reason for that. No, there's a very simple reason.
Третій антифон.
There's a very simple reason for that.
Більше духовно, то є блаженно.
Well, no, actually,
Щасливі, то можна так казати, і світські щасливі, а то блаженний, то відноситься до святості.
Makari. What is the Greek for Makari? That's the question you're asking. So Makari has the sense of being blessed. Shaslive, and in English you will find translations that say happy. Now, happenstance, happy, haphazard, all that word has the connotation of being somewhat, how do you say, it's
Temporary.
no, it's Залежно. What's залежно? Yes, it's sort of dependent on other things, right? Whereas the blаженный has the sense of this is of God. This is, something potentially holy, things like that. So the blаженный is the correct, it's the better translation. You could translate it as happy, but that's probably in our contemporary language not the best. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Але що цікаво, що в народі блаженний називають юродивий.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Людина,
and
яка відійшла від...
Родовий, блажений, то different.
yeah.
Ні, але в народі кажуть
Так,
блаженний.
it's
Він
true.
блаженний, тобто
Yeah.
той, який вже відійшов від цього
Так,
світу,
так.
він вже в іншому.
Yeah, because he lives basically like the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. Yeah, I know, it's true, because when I was looking this up, it's in the Великий Тлумачний Словник. It's exactly, it's one of the definitions. Anyway, добре. Number 8. Розрішальна молитва. Господеві помолімось, Господи помилуй, і на віки віків. Амінь. And write in. З духами спочилих праведників. Okay, and we've done this before. So, добре, we've done it. We get to the end of that. We've done all of this before, okay? We did the вічна пам'ять. Now we go to послідне цілування. This is probably one of the most important things, okay? Послідне цілування, похорон 9. Послідне цілування. It says, голос другий коли з дерева. Tone 2 when Joseph of Arimathea. So now we will learn about the подобні melodies. Подобні. Podobny in Slavonic is, of course, подібний in Ukrainian.
Similar.
And it means, yes, it means similar. And originally what it meant was, in the Byzantine tones, it's a scalar structure, right? Where do the half tones fall? Where do the full tones fall, etc., going up, going down? So you would have a melody built on that same scalar structure, which wasn't the melody of the main tone. Okay? So it was related. Proшу?
Can you repeat the last?
Yes. The Byzantine is a scalar structure, right? You have a scale. So the scale of tone 1, the scale of tone 2, the scale of tone 3, takie hamy, And the, how do you say, основна мелодия, the basic melody, okay, goes in a certain way based on that scalar structure. Then you have these melodies which are based on the same scale. So if it's like if we say a C scale, okay, it's still on a C scale, but it's different from the basic melody. So in other words, the melody is different, but it's built on the same scale. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Is this the idea of variation?
Yes, it would be something like we would say, this is in the key of C, and this is in the key of C, right? As far as the scale, right? It would have a better relationship. The similar melody would bear a relationship to the original melody, but it's not the original melody. It's almost like a, if you want to say, almost in some cases like a variation. Okay? When Tim comes in to talk to you about Byzantine chant, hopefully it'll make more sense to you. But what you need to know now is that there are such melodies, podobні melodii, and there are actually a lot of them. If you get like an etymologion, you will see that there are such melodies. One of the few that we still retain in our use is this one. And this is the melody which is given for the aposticha at Good Friday Vespers. Okay? The Galician melody, I don't know if you guys ever heard it, you may have heard it, is na 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 na. I sang you tone 2 Galician earlier. Listen to tone 2 to the regular melody. Na 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 na. Do you see how they're similar?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Almost three notes the same, but in different
Yeah,
variations.
yeah. So that's a podobin melody. Okay? So the podobin for tone 2 in the Kyivan is this melody. Okay? So I'm just going to start singing it. I know some of you have heard it. I think some of you may even know it. But this is the melody we use for the...
Моє питання, я пам'ятаю, було це колись дерево, я забула, де воно є, в якій частині.
Чого?
Ця мелодія колись дерево.
Це є мелодія до стихір на стиховні на Велику П'ятницю, так. На Велику П'ятницю.
But it's not going to be that melody. Is the
I don't know, most of our churches, I don't know if they sing them at all. They just read them or something, you know? But that's the melody that's appointed for this. And if you go through, like you will see, for example, for St. Peter and Paul, it's tone 2, but then they give a with what crowns. That's the podobin. So if you go through actual liturgical books, not the stuff I send out, but the actual liturgical books, you will often see, it will say tone 2, and then it will give, like in parentheses or in italics, a little phrase, because that phrase is the beginning of the stihira to which the melody is sung. I'll bring some books next time and I'll show you. I don't have any here, but I'll bring some books next time and I'll show you.
I
Okay?
have something that, there's an app on here, on my phone, that it's an Orthodox calendar. It's from the Russian church, but they'll have...
Holy Trinity. Yeah, no, you won't find it there.
No, but for the Tropars, it'll say tone, and then something says brackets.
Oh, does he? Oh, so that'll be it. That'll be it then, yeah. It's just like, for example, if you take tone 8, okay? Tone 8, Pięćdziesiątnicy. The Galician podobin for the Tropar for Holy Trinity, for Pentecost, is Благословен єси Христе Боже наш, що премудрими рибаки явив, богославши їм Духа Святого, і ними уловив солену, чоловіколюбче слава тобі. That's the thing, where there's a normal melody is na 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 na. So you can see the relationship, okay? So that's why they're called podibni, or similar melodies. So, for the Poslednje Cilovanja, please.
So that when I say tone 2, it's going to be related to the resurrection
No.
tone or the vesperal tone?
It could be either.
Oh, okay.
Could be either. This one would be a stihira melody, so it would be,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But remember, in the Kyivan tones, so much water has gone under the bridge that sometimes to find a relationship to anything is extremely difficult, because they just basically took something, harmonized it, and it got, like that. So, okay. Anyway, just give a listen first. This melody, I put the, I put the phrases in there, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has 4 phrases plus an ending. Прийдіть, останнє цілування, віддаймо, браття, спочилому, дякуючи Богові, Він, бо відійшов від роду свого, і до гробу наближається, не дбаючи вже про суєту та багатострадальне тіло, де нині рідні і друзі ось розлучаємось, щоб упокоїтись йому Господу помолимось. That's the melody. 4 phrases. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na, and we're back at the beginning, and then the ending. Na 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 na. Okay? We are on, in the black book, we are on page 51, 52. 51, okay? Yeah. No. We're Nazad. We're on page 51, bottom of page 51. Okay. Come, brethren, let us give a last kiss unto the departed, right? And you see, we just sang that. We end up on page 53, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more stichire on that page, right? I did not put those under notes. because you have to know the melody and you have to sing it. So I'm just going to sing the second one, okay, just sort of off the cuff, so to speak. Яка розлука, браття, який плач, які ридання в цю хвилину. Тому прийдіть, поцілуйте його, що недавно з нами був. Покладуть його до гробу, каменем накривають, темряві він оселюється, з мертвими погребається, і з усіма рідними та друзями нині розлучається, щоб він упокоївся, Господу по Господу помолимось. When you do that, if you do that on your own, I'm going to tell you the trick right now. You have to have the final phrase, to закінчення, the ending, you have to have it in your brain. Because when you're doing it off the cuff, you may come up against that phrase after any particular other phrase. So that's always your, what do you call it? That's your save button, right? You just, Господи помолимось, or whatever it is, right? So you know that phrase. No matter where you are, you can always get out of it with that phrase, okay? So that's really important. Now, I have actually pointing exercise for you using a couple of these, but we'll do that after we finish up with all of this. We sing as many stichiri as we need. When we're getting to the point where there's maybe about 5 to 10 minutes left, okay, we go to the slava. So that's what it says on the top of page 3 here. You know, we sing the stichiri according to the pattern of the previous melody, as long as needed. When we are nearing the end of the last kiss, we sing the glory, final stichiri, and theotokien in tone 6. Again, the glory you can sing recto tono. You don't have to use this melody, but we'll use this melody for now just to get people used to it. Дякую. Okay. Слава Отцю і Сину і Святому Духові, бачачи, як лежу я безмовний, бездиханий, плачте за мною, браття та друзі, рідні і знайомі, бо вчора ще я говорив з вами, і раптом настала страшна година смерті. Прийдіть всі, хто любить мене, і поцілуйте мене останнім поцілунком. Побільше не буду ходити з вами або говорити. Відходжу до судді, який не звертає уваги на особу, бо раб і владика разом стоять перед ним. Цар і воїн багатий, боги зрівняні в достоїнстві. І кожен за свої вчинки або прославиться, або осоромиться. Прошу ж і всіх і благаю, повсякчас моліться за мене Христу Богові, щоб не потрапив я за гріхи свої у місце муки, а щоб оселив він мене там, де світло життя, і нині, і повсякчас, і на віки віків. Амінь. Молитвами Матері Твоєї, Христе, і предтечі Твого, апостолів, пророків, святителів преподобних, та праведних і всіх святих, спочилого раба Твого, упокой. I just want to check one word here. Dostoyinství. Okay, so there's a mistake
Oh, yeah, I
there.
noticed that too. You said
Yeah. Yeah, it's missing. Okay, good. Okay, so then we have the Sviatei Boží. You guys know that. We go to the cemetery. You guys know that. And then we get to the very end. The only thing that we haven't sung through is the Zemle Zemle. It is on page 6 and 7 of at the cemetery section. So section 10, the very end, 6 and 7. And it's in tone 8. So it's the Vespers melody, you guys know it. Земле, земле, розступися і прийми створене Божою рукою тіло, яке до тебе, що його породила, знову обертається. Те, що було створене за образом Божим, Творець прийняв, а ти прийми тіло своє. Okay, so we have been through it in one voice in Ukrainian. We are not going to get through it in one voice in English or in two voices or more voices in any language, but we will come back to it later. I promise you, we will do a few things. So we essentially have about an hour, and I have a few other things I want to do. First of all is housekeeping, okay? Would anybody be interested, or do you think it would be beneficial if we were to go have these meetings in a different parish every month? What do you think about that?
I like that idea.
I don't like it because I don't know where the parishes are and at times to travel.
Okay,
I have no idea how long it takes me to be there.
okay. Anybody else?
I
What do you
prefer it here.
You and your GPS.
I prefer it here.
Okay,
It's easy for me to come to.
okay.
And I think most everybody here. Sorry, Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton would be cool. In Hamilton, we just half an hour.
No, but Toronto have to drive to Hamilton.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, that's not that bad.
gotta drive.
yeah, okay.
Like, Hamilton would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. We're all friends. Everybody can say whatever they want. It's not a problem, you know.
Oshawa, I would
Other-
get lost at the.
Oh, we're easy to find. We're easy to find. Anybody
I know
else?
where it is. And this,
Proszę.
As much as I would like to see the other parishes so we can get new people in, I wouldn't want to break up the group that's already.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anybody else?
I think every time you do a season, you could change it. I don't
Pardon me?
Every time you do a season of
Oh, a season.
workshops,
Okay. Well, you know, I think I'm sure we all agree that we would like to have the greatest amount of participation from the greatest amount of people as possible. And so really the question becomes, will that be in the interest of having good participation to move around, or in the interest of good participation to stay put? So from one problem that I see whenever you move around is just like if you change the liturgy times all the time. Like one day it's 9 a.m. and one day it's 10 a.m. and this and that. Eventually people just say, I don't know when, I'm just not going to go, right? So perhaps for now, let's just leave it here, because we've got something rolling and we know, and it is central, and they're very good to us here, so.
But those people that come, say, from Oshawa
Yeah.
or Hamilton,
Yeah.
they have a bigger commitment. And
Yeah.
in the interest of everybody, it would be nice to move so
Well,
that others are...
it would also be nice, like it would be nice to have you guys in Oshawa or in Hamilton so that we can all do Vespers together in that church afterwards. But are we going to be losing participation if we do that?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh,
What?
Let's put it to vote.
Consistency. Okay,
Vote.
good. No votes. No votes. No, we don't need votes. This isn't a democracy. We're all Christian brothers and sisters, and we arrive at a common decision by consensus because we love each other, and we're more concerned with the needs of the other than we are with our own needs. So that's okay. Okay. So
I think it would be very, very good. I think that the courses, if they were still here, that does have that stability. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
If you miss one because of work or some other reason, you know that where it's going to be the next time. And I think, but I do think the goal of putting together perhaps even a core group of people who are interested in sharing the practice of Vespers in those parishes where it's not commonly served is really valuable. So, but that comes after the course or concurrently with the course, not necessarily.
After the course, if you guys could all promise to come to St. Vladimir's in Hamilton and sing Vespers with poor Geza and Maya and Mark.
Okay, yeah.
Join us in there, and we'd be so happy.
And that in fact may be something that we can schedule. So why don't we all in our own parishes, not on the workshop days, but on other Saturdays,
That's a great idea.
figure out when it would be convenient for, people to come where we can get together, sing Vespers, and maybe just have a little talk afterwards or whatever.
That's a great idea.
Okay? Yeah. Okay?
That idea very much.
So think of that for December meeting. What dates would work for you, starting, say, in January, and then we can take it from there, okay? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We're Canadian.
Yep. Okay. Next thing is the scheduling. For the December gathering and for the January gathering, I'm flipping them. I had December listed as a review, but even today we're not getting through the funeral in both languages. So we're going to have to need more time for that. We haven't done any prokimene, which I was hoping to do today, so we're going to put that into December. Plus, in December, I want to do the festal services for January because we need the time to prepare. And a lot of these services will be done only by a cantor, so we need the time to prepare. So December is going to be Rizdvo, Jordan. We're going to review funeral, and we're going to learn the prokimene. Okay, so that's going to be December. In January, we're going to do a bigger review so that we can sort of consolidate all this material that we did in the fall. Okay? Now, as far as the schedule goes, we have scheduled for what? It's the 7th of December on St. Catherine's Day, and for the 4th of January, 1st of March, 1st of February, 1st of March,
5th of April,
5th of April,
May 3rd.
May 3rd, and then it's June 21st, I believe? Yeah, okay. So, is everybody okay with those?
Oh yeah, so far.
Okay, because again, the big thing is the consistency, that people are able to come out. Now, you expect that after the first, you're going to get drop-off after the first and second one, because there are people who think, they're going to come in and it's going to be easy and this and that. And as we know, nothing in this life that's worthwhile is easy. You have to put time in and you have to work at it. It's very sad when people think they can, spend 5 minutes looking at some music that they got on the internet and then sing a funeral, okay, which, there are people like that. But it's much better when we get together, so that we want to take these courses seriously, and I'm sure now we have a core group that does take it seriously, and pull the other people in. So please, in your parishes, remind other people about it. Remind other people about it, so that we get as many people as possible. Because, as I said at the very beginning, this stuff is really important. If we want the church to thrive, this stuff is extremely important. Okay, so now we're going to have some practical work. You have a choice, Ukrainian or English. And you'll have 10 minutes. What we're doing, remember we talked about pointing the texts? Pointing the text? Okay. For the последнее целование, the прийдіть, останнє цілування, даймо браття померлому. I got the wrong translation, but I've taken 2 of those stichire that aren't under notes, and you may choose in English or Ukrainian one or the other. English, Ukrainian. Ukrainian, dobre. You may choose one or the other. Point it.
Sing it, right, Father?
And then, point it for yourself, and then those who are dusha taki smilivi, they can sing it for us, okay? You want English?
Oh my gosh.
English?
Yeah.
Okay. Я думаю. English, Ukrainian. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
I speak English.
You can take either one. Either one, doesn't matter to me. You have to sing it for the funeral in 5 minutes. Make your little notes so you know where it goes up, where it goes down, where it stops, where it starts. I've done half of the work for you because I've broken up the phrases, but if you don't like the way I've broken up the phrases, you can break them up. If you don't like the way I've broken up the phrases, you can break them up another way. Okay. Okay, so it's the melody for the last kiss. You are allowed to refer to your notes if you want, that's not a problem. Okay? So take about 10 minutes, sing through it one way, sing through it another way. Okay. 8 minutes. We'll have 8 minutes.
At the cemetery, like this.
Can you, before I set the timer, refresh how we do the pointing?
Okay. Let me, okay.
Up, but then I remember the when we hold it, that's where we
So wherever you start, the next syllable can go up or it can go down. When Joseph of Arimathea Okay? So, Christina.
Yeah.
Up, down, extra syllables. When Joseph of Arimathea
Lines, 3 lines of me.
You get one for free, right?
Yeah.
But if it's 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 2 beats, 3 beats, 4 beats, right?
Okay.
These are houses, so you got to refuse.
Or is it because of he's from Poland?
That's just as bad.
Christina.
Yeah, no, it's good. Very realistic. Just download that.
The bell is tolling. Okay. So, people close to the end?
Funny. Fourth line.
What? Okay.
I'm on the
Okay.
third line.
Okay. So listen, I don't care if you get to the end or not, but who would like to sing what you've got? Okay. Hanusia, давай. Okay.
Just bear with me because I'm following the notes.
We're bearing with everybody. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. Hanushu. The exercise is to note it with the ups and the downs.
I've done that.
Yeah, but don't use your thing to cheat.
I
The
don't know the melody.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The idea is to get the melody into your brain so that you can give a little note, little thing here, little thing there, little thing there, that will just remind you of where to go. So that's the trick with all of this. Essentially, if you want to be a successful cantor, you should know all these melodies in your brain.
Yeah.
Okay? So go ahead.
With the Vespers,
Yeah,
when we know the Vespers so well,
Yeah.
that you can just pick up anything.
I know.
And I guess this is two.
Yeah.
You can do 2 lines.
Okay, go ahead.
With what can we compare our life? In very truth unto a flower, smoke and the morning dew. Come therefore, let us gaze openly at the grave. Where is the...
Okay, good.
I have a question.
No, I want to hear this first.
No.
Questions afterwards. Who would like to sing? Anybody else? Прошу, пане Юрія.
Яке ж то життя наше, воістину світить дим і роса, ранішня, підійдімо ж до гробу і пильно пригляньмося, де краса тілесна, де молодість, де очі вигляд тіла, зів'яло все наше трава, все пропало, прийдіть до Христа зі сльозами, приходім до Нього.
Good, дякую. Point is, there is not necessarily a right or a wrong. There are different ways of doing it. So, did you hear what he did? Where he actually, see, because I actually gave you half of it where I broke things up already, right? But all you're going to get is an empty text, right? Just with lines. So, you have to be able to break up the phrases, and you heard what he did with it. He took some of those phrases and put them together. I had broken them up, he thought better together. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. For example, I have, de krasa тілесна, de молодість, and then I have a different line, de очі і вигляд тіла. And he put them all together. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You can do that, that's not a problem. What you don't want to do, the only way you go wrong is when you do this. With what can we compare our life in very truth unto a flower smoke and the morning dew? Come therefore, let us gaze openly at the grave. Where is the beauty of the body? Where is his? Yeah, you can't chop it up. It has to make sense. Okay? Yeah. So you want to make sure the phrase works out right. Okay, the phrase works out correctly. And you want to make sure that, the melody fits as much as possible. Not too long, not too short. And I would really, really emphasize that you should try to do this on your own at home. And if you do get into the situation where you have to do it, even to make little lines like I have in my book, as far as where each phrase ends, because if you get, for example, to tone 6, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 ending, or 1, 2, 3 ending, but not 1 ending, if at all possible. Tone 2, what do you call it? The Tropar melody, it's best if it goes 1, 2, 1, 2 ending, right? So you want to do that in advance. So really do take the time to prepare. Okay, прошу.
Я маю питання, I have invention. Is it possible to take it from computer and put it on a page, on the soprano line, maybe alto, for example, tone 1,
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
If we can have that, so if I drive in the car,
A lead line.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to do it while you're driving in the car. No, you've already had an accident. You don't need to have another accident. Okay?
He is an accident.
Але я не маю, це мене зробили accident, я добре їхав.
No. It's a good idea, because I can do that, and just put out the lead line.
That's
and
fine.
do that. I can do that, so that's a good idea.
Repetition, 1, 2, well, actually 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and repetition. І там, де є repetition, то ми будемо знати, де я можу вам і співати, і їхати, то мене веселіше буде.
Отче, для мене leave everything.
Yeah, I know. See, the thing is if you're singing a funeral, and you're there, and you've got this in front of you, and I show up, I can sing the bass or whatever, right? If you only have the lead line, that's fine if you're singing by yourself. But if you know where the lead line is here, you don't really need that. So, you know, like Pan Stefan says, for rehearsal purposes, very good, very good. But, be that as it may, we have to know the stuff anyway. So, okay, so that's that. Let's talk a little bit now. You remember the last time we had this thing, the order of Tropars at the liturgy? Order of the Tropars, okay? Oh, I have it in my other book. Do you have that?
Well, I have the list for you.
No, but do you have the actual paper, the yak?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I have it here.
I have it here. Yeah, I have my own copy and I have an extra copy. Okay. And what it is, it's a document that says, in English, concerning the order of Tropars and conducts at the little entrance of the Divine Liturgy, and in Ukrainian, порядок тропарів і кондаків після входу на літургії. Okay, приймаєте з минулого разу? Did you get these?
Yes.
Okay, добре. Okay. And again, because this seems to be something that is a general concern. Father, yeah, він має по-англійському і ви маєте по-українському, так. Father Yov's book, he talks about this in here, okay. The one thing that you have to know, which you, without a church calendar or typicon, wouldn't normally know, is the level of solemnity for the saint, okay. So if we just take this, okay, and let's just look at, for example, since most of our temples are dedicated to saints, okay, let's look at C or V в храмі святого, okay, it's on page 2 in, I'm sorry.
On page 2.
Page 2.
Where am I? Yeah, page 2 at the bottom, in Ukrainian and in English. Храмі святого, in a church dedicated to a saint. Okay? Now, it says 12 main feasts. Okay? 12 праздників. Okay? This means Різдво, Богоявлення, Стрітення, Благовіщення, Вхід в Єрусалим, Воскресіння Пасха, Вознесіння, П'ятидесятниця, Преображення, Успіння, Різдво Пресвятої Богородиці, Воздвиження Чесного Христа. Okay? So those are the 12 great feast days. The Nativity, the Theophany, the Annunciation, the entrance into Jerusalem, Pascha, Ascension, Pentecost, Transfiguration, Dormition, Nativity of the Mother of God, and the Exaltation of the Holy Cross. Those are the 12 main feast days. On those feast days, all you do is, it's from the feast. Like here it says, 12. Як припадає Господнє 12 свято, тропарі, кондак свята. So that's just, from the tone. The next line is if it's one of the great feasts of the Lord, but not one of the 12, like the circumcision, for example. If it falls on Sunday, you get the Tropar of the resurrection, of the feast, of the saint, kondak, the resurrection of the saint and of the feast. So that's the highest level. This is the next highest level. Okay? Not of the 12. But of the Lord, okay? Then the next level down is one of the 12 major feasts of the Theotokos. Well, there aren't 12, but what they mean is the great feasts, which we mentioned, when it falls on a Sunday, okay? So you have the Theotokos. "12" just means one of the great feasts. That's all 12 means. When you hear about the 12 great feasts, it just means that it's one of the great feasts. Okay? So you have then, it talks about Feast of the Lord or Feast of the Theotokos, the after feast, post feast. Leave taking of a feast. Then you have a vigil saint. So now we have saints, okay? This is all of our Lord and of the Theotokos. This whole first section. Тільки до Христа, до Богородиці, okay? Now, in the category of saints, you have a saint that has a vigil. This is usually a saint at Vespers. You have readings from the Old Testament, and you have a litia, okay? Next level, saint vigil, okay. Saint, okay, so he doesn't give it like that. Okay. Anyway, the next level down from that would be vigil, would be a saint where you don't have a vigil, but you sing the polyale. Next would be a saint for which you sing the doxology. This is at Orthros. Polyelios, then you would have the doxology, then you would have a 6 Tehira saint, which means at Vespers there are 6 Tehira, which usually 3 that you're supposed to sing doubled. Because like at daily Vespers, you would only have 6 Tehira, and usually it would be 3 from the Octoechos and 3 from the saint. Well, if you have a 6 Tehira saint, that's the second lowest, and then the lowest is the simple commemoration where they have 3 Tehira at Vespers. Okay? So this is the hierarchy of how all of this works. Pane Stefano, you asked me about this earlier. This is what we're talking about, how you read that calendar. Okay? So, let's just go through Chrami Świętego. 12 great major feasts, that's an easy one, right? If you have one of the other things that falls on a Sunday, and these are all on Sunday, okay? These are all on Sunday. One of, the circumcision, you would do, circumcision is a bad example because it has a double feast. St. Basil is there, so let's leave the circumcision away. Let's talk about the feast of the icon of not made by hands. Okay? Icon not made by hands. Where it falls on a Sunday, Tropar of the resurrection, so it's tone 1, say, that would be tone 1. Of the feast, the icon not made by hands. Of the saint. Okay? So depending on the saint of that day, that's the Tropar you would have. Kondak of the resurrection, of the saint, and of the feast. So that the Lord's kondak would end it. Okay? Number 3, one of the 12 major feasts of the Theotokos falls on Sunday. And so let's say it is the feast of the Nativity of the Mother God on a Sunday, which will happen next September 21st if the world lasts that long. You would have, if it's say tone 2, it would be Tropar of tone 2, Tropar of the Nativity of the Mother God, Kondak, Glory, Kondak of tone 2, and then Kondak of the feast, okay, like that. And you know that always we sing Glory before the second last Kondak, and both now before the last Kondak. If there's only a Tropar and a Kondak, you sing Glory and both now together. If there are two Tropars and one Kondak, you would sing both Tropars and then Glory both now and then the Kondak. Okay? You don't sing Glory before a Tropar. But always it's Glory both now and then the last Kondak, or the Theotokian. Okay. When one of the great feasts of the Theotokos, number 4, falls on a Sunday, say the placing of her robe in the church of Lacherna, resurrection of the feast, and then of the saint of the day. Kondak of the saint and of the feast, okay? Number 5, on a Sunday which falls during the forefeast or after feast of a feast of the Lord or the Theotokos. This is where you need to have either the calendar or the typikon, either a good calendar or the typikon, that will show you if it's a forefeast or a after feast, a pered sviato or pisля sviata. And then you usually will need to have a Menean. This is the book that has all the services for each day of the month. Because it will give you, because sometimes, for example, you know, just an example, before Christmas, Nativity has a 5-day pre-feast, okay? And depending on when the Sunday falls, for example, this year, the Sunday before Christmas, which falls on the 5th of January, falls within 5 days of the Feast of the Nativity. So it's in the forefeast. So you see here, Tropar of the forefeast, Tropar pered prasenstva, for the Sunday of the Holy Fathers. This is 578, 579. So as you can imagine, if there are 7 days in a week, and the forefeast is 5 days, most of the time it will be in the forefeast, right? The Sunday will be in the forefeast, right? But if, for example, Christmas falls on a Saturday, the Sunday before Nativity won't be in the forefeast, so you wouldn't use that Tropar right there. Because Christmas is such a big holiday, you know, we have it in the book here. But in most cases, that isn't going to happen. In most cases, you're going to have, the only way you're going to have it is if it's in the Menean or something. And which is okay. If you don't have it, you don't have it. No big deal. You know, nobody's, you know, you're not going to get struck by lightning. But just so that you're aware of that, okay? Now, number 6, if the leave taking, you understand the forefeast is a period before the feast day, right? Like for Christmas, the forefeast is 5 days. We don't have any more. Okay. For Christmas, the forefeast is 5 days, and the postfeast is 7 days. So January the 13th, okay, Christmas for us falls on the 7th of January. The 13th is the last day of the feast, okay? So, on the 13th, if you serve the liturgy, you're going to do it just like you did it at Christmas, more or less, except the scripture readings will be different, okay? Pascha has a 40-day post-feast. So if you serve the liturgy, God bless you, the day before the Ascension, the Paschal, it's like the Paschal liturgy again. And again, there are differences. It's not exactly the same, but a lot of the feast day stuff is redone on the leave taking. So those are the two things to remember. There's the forefeast and the after feast, but then there's the leave taking.